Hi, and welcome to the Oregon Trail Interpretive Center. My name is Kelly Burns. I'm a park ranger here. Normally when you come to visit, it's sort of a self-guided tour, but today I'm going to take you through on a little tour. This is our main gallery. We call it the Introduction Gallery. As you walk along this gallery, it's as if you're walking along with the pioneers themselves. You'll hear some sounds, you'll hear some voices. Try to imagine that you're really hot and really dusty, and that maybe you've been walking quite a long time. What you'll see in this gallery are some representations of types of people who came west and some taxidermied specimens of animals that they would have seen along the way or brought along with them. Right here we have some oxen. Oxen were important in the journey westward. They were like the engine to the motor. They pulled the wagons, and your success of your trip really depended on the health and strength of your animals. So as we move on down the trail, you'll notice that we'll actually be walking across some trail, give you a little idea about how it felt, just a few feet of that, more than 2,500 miles. As we approach this large window, we come to the end of your little trail walk experience, and you can see the actual Oregon Trail outside of our building. The pioneers came through this area, usually in late summer, early fall. You see that little wagon down there? It's actually a full-size wagon sitting in the wagon ruts, and we put it there to help you understand the scope of the trail and the size of the wagons. So as we come around the corner here, we're beginning at Independence, Missouri. The stage is set, the wagons are getting packed, people are starting west. As we go through the exhibit here, we'll come across 3 short films, 3 to 5 minutes in length, that were made just for the center here that help explain better each part of the trail to visitors. There are some reproductions of famous artwork, some hands-on items such as this Pack Your Wagon exhibit. It helps folks understand kinetically the space involved and the decisions to be made about what to take and what to leave. As we pass along here, we're going across the plains. The wagons have formed into long trains. We'll talk a little bit about the kind of animals that might have been seen along the trail, such as the bison, and some of the different physical impediments that came across, like falls, river falls, forts, trails, people they might have met. This is the trading camp that we're coming up to, this little exhibit. It talks about how that folks traded with Native Americans. As we continue down the trail, we approach the subject. People would discard items that they brought along with them. A lot of times, precious sentimental things or just tools that were needed for everyday life. As you went along the trail, due to the health of the animals, the difficulty of the trail, just the weight of things were discarded. And this is just an illustration of such a thing. Folks passed many different forts where they could stop and replenish their supplies or trade or purchase things, form and reform wagon trains, and this little diagram is just an example of such a fort. As we continue down the trail, we talk a little bit more about difficulties, floating along the rivers, paying for ferries, making decisions about whether to take a water route or a land route. Of course, then we talk a little bit about death and tragedy on the trail. As we come on to the Blue Mountains, we call this diorama our Blue Mountain encampment, and this would be west of where we're presently located, the last high mountain pass before the pioneers moved down into the Great Basin and on Oregon City. And finally, we come to the end of the Oregon Trail in Oregon City, where the pioneers would all come to terms with where they were going to go on down the valley, maybe group and regroup there. And our last little vignette in the Interpretive Center is what we call gold and grasslands. The pioneers passed through the area where we live now and remembered the rich farmland and ranching land available. When gold was discovered here, many folks came back from Western Oregon and settled in the Baker Valley and the grasslands area. If you look out the window here, you'll see a reproduction of a gold stamp mill. Some of the components of that mill came from a place called the Rabbit Mine, and our employees rebuilt kind of a facsimile of how that stamp mill would have worked. One of our themes here is gold mining. And so that speaks to that. You can go down and look inside if you'd like. Your family is looking at a flat map. They're imagining that their farm or their ranch is going to arise from this map. They're going to work hard and make a new life for their families. That's what this represents. And we move back into our lobby area. So now we find ourselves in the Leo Adler Theater. Here in our theater, we show films on a daily basis, and we have as many live performances as we can. Thanks for coming to the Interpretive Center. We hope you'll come back and visit us again. We're open from 9 to 6 in the summertime, 9 to 4 in the winter months. We've got a great website, and we'd love to see you back.